He'll be joining. He'll be joining momentarily. All right,
Okay.
we are going live on YouTube here. We are going live. It is the On the Hunt podcast, episode 74. I got Bobby Bless with me, and I'm pointing in the wrong direction. There we go. I got Bobby Bless with me. Yeah, and we also have got Nate Rucker, who will be joining us here momentarily. He's got to kind of pull double duty tonight. He's working at the bar and working here at the podcast. Bobby
Rich
Bless
bastard.
got done work.
Rich bastard.
Bobby
Rich
Bless just
bastard.
got done work, and now he's working at the podcast. Then he's got to go to bed and get ready to go back to his regular job. So everybody's
Man.
doing something right now. And of course, Reggie Funches is with us in spirit tonight. So because Reggie usually has to work whenever we do this, nowadays. But anyway, Bobby Bless, he's the number one Lions fan. Got to say that it's in his contract. If I don't, he'll leave the show. Bobby, how's
I
it
am.
going, man?
Man, it's going good, man. You know, uh, when you got a full schedule, that means you're doing good, right? So, uh, shit, dude, I'm ready to talk about some football. I'm tired of talking about Walmart for a few days, for a day or two. Shit. That's all I've been doing is my new management training in a different city that's an hour away from where I live. So everything is just I'm losing about 2 hours a day of just riding home, kind of like so.
Well, hey, congratulations on that, my friend. I know you've been working really hard for that. As far as
Yep.
Lions football is concerned, we'll get right into it, folks, because we got to be done by 8 o'clock tonight. So if you are joining us on YouTube, remember, leave those comments, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out more than y'all know. And the best part about it is it's free. It's a free way to support us. So we greatly appreciate it.
I got some new subscribers too, man.
Very
From
cool.
from the group meeting. I mean, from my little classes. Yeah,
That's
I told them, hey, I got a podcast. Now would be a good time to follow said podcast.
So let's get into some of these topics here. Like I said, we got a lot to go over, not a whole lot of time to do it. Kind of feel like Smokey and the Bandit tonight. So
We're here for a
JMO,
good time, not a long time. I got
that's
you.
right. That's right. JMO has been a topic on this show for a long time, and JMO has
Man,
been making waves at training camp lately.
baller.
Uh, People are just amazed at what they're seeing. Bobby, this kind of feels like validation for everything that we've ever said about the kid, right?
Nope.
No?
No, not at all. No. It don't count until the week one.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's
All
all,
right. So
yeah,
you're
nah. Dude. But hey, I am glad that the good news. I'm glad the good news coming out, but I'm definitely far from satisfied with that though. But I believe in him still though. Always did, but I want to see it, in the regular season.
So I totally get that. I totally get that. The thing that has me excited though is the fact that everybody's noticing it.
Right.
Everybody's saying the same thing. Like this guy looks really good. He's really locked in. He's really focused. I like hearing that about JMO. I
Yeah.
also I also like what I'm seeing in the highlight tapes that they're releasing from training camp. Now listen, I have been one of the first people to tell you that a highlight is a highlight for a reason. But I'm seeing different routes from JMO in those
Mm.
highlights. It's not just straight go routes. There's some comeback
Man.
routes. There's some crossing over the middle. Like he's doing other routes, which is something that I know Bobby has talked about for
Yeah, for
the
sure.
past year and a half of like, okay, we got to see something else other than a go route. And it's looking good. It's looking good. Now
Definitely.
they did make a comment about how JMO was running so fast that he made himself vomit. And Dan Campbell was talking about how, listen, as long as he catches the ball, he can vomit all he wants. So I was like, that's funny.
That's funny.
I forget what movie it is. Oh, I know what movie
Any
it is.
given
Any
Sunday.
Given Sunday, yeah, with Willie Beeman throwing up in the
Yep,
huddle.
yep, yep.
So
Any given Sunday.
we might have our own Willie Beeman as far as that's concerned. But JMO, like I said, looking good. Obviously, we know what we have with Amon Ra. It's gotten to a point now where I don't want to say it's no longer impressive because it's always impressive the amount of work that he puts in and what he gets out of the work he puts in. But it's almost like we feel entitled to it now. We're like, we know what
Yeah.
we get from him. So the spotlight isn't as great on him as it was early on in his career when he was a fourth rounder trying to earn that second contract. Now he has. So we expect a lot more out of him. But he, you know, it sounds like he's delivering. So, but as far as JMO is concerned, I know Nate's probably going to want to bring us back to JMO whenever he hops back on. But did you have anything else about JMO that you're like enjoying that you're seeing right now?
I'm glad that he's embracing this year as a year to prove itself, right?
Yeah.
I just want to see it week 1 against the Rams more likely, but I don't want to be the person that's just hard on him kind of person. I'm just happy that no news is good news, and all the news is about him on the field, right? So.
Right.
Not that I believe he got in trouble. I'm just glad that he's living his life good. You know what I mean? He staying out of trouble. He healthy, and he's improving in his practice habits. You know what I mean? And you can tell that he worked on his craft between the off season. So I want more, of course, but hey, I'm getting something though. You know what I mean? But I want more though. For sure. And I've never been the one that doubted him too. So I want to feel like that. I don't feel like I'm like trying to eat my words or nothing. I already knew he could do it, but I ain't seen it all. I ain't seen the big picture. Yeah, I see he's on the block.
Right.
He ain't at the door knocking yet. So I know he's gonna make it happen though.
So moving on to another player who's had some injury issues as of late, Emmanuel Moseley. Emmanuel Moseley.
Oh my God, he hurt again?
Well, so here's what happened, okay? He's not hurt again, knock on wood. He's not hurt again, but they interviewed him, and I happened to catch this video online, and one of the things he was talking about, and he kind of got emotional talking about it, was how the Lions did not turn their back on him. He talked about, hey, anybody else, man, they probably would have told me to hit the, you know, basically get packing and go. But the Lions didn't do that to me. And he was talking about the culture with the Lions and how excited he is to be a part of that secondary. And that's what I wanted to bring up. You know, in this training camp, we're hearing more stories about how good the organization is to its players than I would say ever before. I mean, players are being very outspoken about how great it is to be a Detroit Lion. And that to me feels really good. And I feel weird saying that because I'm not the one making these players feel good. I'm not the one giving them the money. But as a fan of the team, one of the things that I've always heard about our team is that we don't treat guys right, that we don't treat our star players correctly, that we make people feel unappreciated. So now that I'm hearing, and it's the players doing it on their own accord. It's not like they're sitting in front of a microphone that says Detroit Lions on it. They're doing it to these different media agencies, and they're saying, listen, I'm not afraid to say it. These guys treat me good. That, to me, speaks wonders. You know, but Emmanuel Moseley did come out and say, listen, the Lions didn't give up on me like a lot of other teams would have after another ACL injury. And obviously, I want to wish Emmanuel Moseley the very best coming up this preseason, and we'll see what happens moving on from there. But Emmanuel Moseley, again, talking really good about the franchise and about
remember what I said. Remember I said last year. I said, "Damn, they must really like him, huh?"
Right.
Because I don't understand why he's still here, but let's see. Let's see, because I ain't seen him do shit yet. Nothing. So.
Nate, we're talking about how Emmanuel Moseley came out in the media and was talking about how great the Lions have treated him and how the Lions haven't given up on him. And I'm talking about how that speaks to the culture that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and Sheila Hamp have created here, and how that's different from the past where players would say the exact opposite, that the Lions would use them up and spit them out. How do you feel about that as a fan?
I mean, it is what it is, for real, honestly. They trust him. And, hey, he's a veteran. Hold on, y'all.
Okay. Bobby, how do you feel about everything? And I know you kind of
I don't know nothing about the dude. Can't wait to see him actually play. That's about as positive I'm gonna be about it.
But
I think
taking him out of the equation, how do you feel as a Lions fan hearing Lions players saying they're getting taken care of? How do you feel about that?
I mean,
they won, so they
veteran,
should get took care. They won, so they should get took care of. You know, they because it's been many a times where I've been like, shoot, get rid of all them dudes.
Where your
So
phone at?
well, now that we winning, they deserve to get took care of. They don't, you know what I mean? We of course we don't want them to get comfortable, but hey, that's just the residue of winning. When you win, people think highly of you. When they think highly of you, they want you around. So
Right.
yeah,
Makes sense. Makes sense. Nate, what did you have to add to this topic before we keep
and then you have to remember that Emmanuel Mosley comes from a winning culture. You know, he's a veteran, a proven veteran corner. He can help these guys, teach these guys different things about technique, helping them, you know, sure up certain things. So you just can't have all young guys in that secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those along the lines of having a proven veteran who is respected, who these guys are gonna listen to. So that's a whole nother coach on the field. Yeah, you got Dre Bly and you know and Aaron Glenn, but now you have a guy who's still active and on the field that these guys can learn from. You know, so that's also, you know, when you look at the culture and the leadership of former players, they bring in guys that are ready to be coached. And if, you know, whatever they may end up, they have a coaching mindset. You have to be a coachable player.
Right.
And so that leads up into everything that these guys want.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, we haven't seen him on the field, but that doesn't mean that his impact in the locker room and his impact on the sideline isn't important. And it might, I want to say, damn near imperative. Like, they need to have that out there. You know, it ain't like we got the Glover twins and, you know, Darius Slays to help these young guys come in. You have to have some type of veteran leadership back there. And a guy who's a proven veteran at that. It sucks about back-to-back, you know, injuries, but he's definitely bringing something to the field, something to these players that these guys deem as productive and something that they need.
Now, Nate, as far as you being a fan of the Lions, when you hear Lions players this offseason talking about how great they are being taken care of, does that move the needle at all for you? Because it does for me, because I've always heard that we don't treat players right, but now it's like, no, these players are coming out on their own accord, speaking about how great things are in Detroit.
And when you say we, you mean the other regimes, right? Not Brad Holmes, for saying.
Correct. No. I'm talking about other regimes.
That's why it's not that big a surprise to me, because Brad Holmes and he didn't cook. We didn't see him cook, so I ain't even a surprise to me no more.
Right, but you got to think about it. Last time we had that was when we had Tom LaWine, who was our general manager, and the whole Ndamukong Suh thing. So since then, everybody's been treated well and fairly, as far as I know of. So, hold on a second. So I don't think they have a problem with that. You know, it's
no. Matt Patricia and Darius Slay.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
I forgot about Big Baloney. I don't know how, but you know, since then, them three guys were, and I won't even say Bob Quinn didn't treat the guys right, the players right. You know, he did some snake shit with Jim Caldwell, we know about, and then we know Big Baloney telling the other guys to suck the other players' dicks and shit like that.
Oh, you can't say that, Nate. Can't say that.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. You too. So I mean, I'm glad they coming out.
We were doing so good. We had a PG show happening, and he just whipped the dig out. Like, oh my god.
but when you think about it, like, guys love the city of Detroit. All the former players, they like when you think of Nate Burleson, he still rocks the Detroit here. It's not from here.
Right.
Glover Quinn loves Detroit. Darius Slay loves Detroit. And Ndamukong Suh is still here throughout the year in Detroit, still owns property in Birmingham. He's in Detroit a lot. You know, so like those guys, man, they don't take it personal on the fans and everything else. And they know that it was just that stint. And when you look at how they revitalized the relationships, man, with Megatron, started with Barry, you know, so it was like, man, it was destined to be good. And I'm proud of it.
Another thing that we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, folks, but I did want to mention it because people are noticing it. Obviously, Meyer has kind of stepped back into, corporate sponsorship with the Lions in a big way, because they have now made it to where there is actually, I want to say, like a overhead covering for the training camp bleachers that people would sit on. So like now you don't have to be roasting in the heat when you watch the Lions out there. They've also updated with a huge podium that Dan Campbell was kind of joking
Yeah, I
around
did
about.
see that. I did see that.
And people were saying, "Hey, is this what it feels like when you start
You left
winning?"
everything in the car,
Uh,
didn't you? Everything in the
You
whip.
get some of these nicer things, these nicer amenities, which first I would say enjoy the amenities, but realize you will pay more for those in the tickets. Okay. But second, yeah, this is what it feels like to be a winning franchise. You get to have nice things like overhead covering for your training camp seating. But I'm just curious, you guys, seeing these improvements that they're making for the fan experience as well. How cool is that? To see, a corporate, entity making that type of investment in our team. I'll start with Bobby.
it's cool, but like you said, man, the price is going up. You know, yes, what did it say? Yesterday's price is not today's price. That's damn
Right.
true with the Lions, man. Like it's like even it. I mean, it's the good with the bad. So, and the reason why it's the good to the bad with me because I don't care. I'm gonna support them. Like Nate always know, Bobby gonna spend his money on the Lions. So it really the price don't really matter. But as far as the national attention, that is cool. But what I don't like is all this. It's hard. They keep buying my stuff, man. They keep buying my Lions stuff. Now everybody want to be a Lions fan. It's hard for the real fans to get the stuff first again. So now I gotta wait in line like everybody else, even though I was the first one in line. But I mean, it's good. It's always good to hear good stuff about it. But it's like with everything else on this earth and in this world, it's some good and it's the bad. So as me being Mr. Positive as I always try to be, I'ma just reflect on the good and what is good about it is people can actually see that we got some good guys on this team. And then when I mean by good guys, I'm talking about highly paid guys that earned the money, not just on name, but they actually earn it. So like we seen Jared Goff get paid, we seen St. Brown get paid, we seen Penei Sewell get paid, and those three guys are definitely not only the foundation of the offense, is actually the foundation of this team. And those guys coming to Detroit, each one of those gentlemen marks the sign of change. They started to change, and it's awfully good. As you know, Elijah, we always was hoping. We always know we pick good players, but now we're able to keep those good players. So
Right.
that's just the proof of the change. But as far as everybody late to the party, they making me pay for their asses being late to the party because I've been a Lions fan. When I was buying hats for $5, I said, you know what? Since they $5, give me 4 hats. Give me 5 hats. You know what I mean? Now I gotta buy it. Now I got hats that was costing $20, $25. Now they costing $40 and stuff. So, but I'm glad that they
But you just never late, so you don't never have to pay it.
our football team deserves it, man. We deserve it. The fans, some of the fans deserve it, and I say some, but I don't want to break off for why. But some of the fans deserve it, and you know if you deserve it or not. So
Right.
yeah,
I get that. I get that. So some of those people should not be allowed to sit underneath the Myers overhead covering, is what Bobby's saying. Some of y'all should be in the sun
make it rain on them
all day. Okay. I'm going to unmute Nate here because, like I said, Nate is working double duty. So occasionally we'll hear conversations on the side because he's got to work. Got to work. So, Nate, the Myers covering, the Myers overhead investment, to the training camp facility, things like that. What does that say to you? And does that matter to you at all before we move on?
Well, I mean, I've been watching the additions, man, that Rod Wood has been doing, and that he's completely changed the fan experience at Ford Field. So, I mean, it's not to be truthfully a surprise to me because he keep making more and more and more additions and changing that whole experience.
Okay.
So I ain't got no problem with it.
So
I like it. What
so
was that?
So moving on here. One of the battles that we thought we were
That's all
going
I got was some juice fingers. All right, dog.
Nate turned his camera off and forgot to mute himself. Okay, we got it. So there we go. So as far as one of the battles we thought we were going to be watching this training camp and thought we were going to be watching this preseason, it's a battle that's already over with. And unfortunately, it's over with due to injury, which sucks because I would much rather see somebody beat somebody out because of talent than have a battle not be a battle because of an injury. But last time we did an episode, we talked about how, okay, who's going to be the kicker? Is it going to be Michael Badgley? Is it going to be Bates? Who's it going to be? Obviously, that Bobby likes Bates out of the UFL. Well, then Badgley ends up getting injured in practice and is out for the season. So that battle is over with. So now we will, no doubt about it, have a new kicker. And I think it's going to be Jake Bates. I think he's going to end up winning the job. But like I said, for me, I kind of feel bad about it because I would have liked to see Money Badger get a chance to compete for his job. But obviously injuries got in the way.
Yeah.
Kickers win games in the NFL. Kickers can win you games. Kickers can lose you games. We always know that. Bobby Bless, how do you feel? Because, it kind of opens the door wide open for your guy. But do you feel like me where you would have liked to see that battle?
I seen enough from Badgley already because believe it or not, the fact that Dan Campbell was going for it so much let me know that he ain't the guy. So he's actually doing the same. Him being hurt is doing the same thing he was doing for the team now. So I don't even care for real.
Okay.
Now it's yeah. So he's still contributing as much as he did last year. I don't even care about that. And as far as the kicker Bates, I got to see him. He my guy. I wanted him because I'm watching ESPN, seeing him kicking them bombs in Ford Field. But I heard the knock on him was outdoor kicking. So yeah. before I get the before I take my Bates jersey out my cart, before I hit confirm on that purchase on my Bates jersey, I want to see him kick outside at least once though in preseason. But hey, if he don't work out, you already know what we're gonna do. We already got a contingency plan if the kicker don't work out. We're gonna go for it every time. So I ain't worried about I ain't worried about that part. I just worried about him kicking in Chicago, kicking in Green Bay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because every far kick I seen him kick, it was in a dome. You know what I mean? And when he was kicking them outside, it wasn't good. But Badgley wasn't no competition to me anyway, for real, because he been on the team. A healthy Badgley mean we going for it. So.
Oh my God! All right, Bobby just put Michael Badgley to bed, in the worst way possible.
Man, come on, man. I'd rather see Fox kick than him. Let Fox kick it. Shit.
Nate, let's go to you for a second. Do you feel disappointed that we won't get to see an actual battle, or are you good with just rolling with Jake Bates?
We again, like Bobby said, man. Hey, it's one of them. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So shit, he ain't got no pressure.
Moving on here, let's get to a player who does have a lot of pressure on him, but he usually holds up very well. Taylor Decker just got a new deal with the Lions. Obviously, I'll go first on this one. I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for Taylor Decker that he's got a new deal, and this is another example of how the culture has changed in Detroit because it was said that Taylor Decker, he was kind of having feelings about the fact that he hadn't gotten a new contract. He watched Panay get one. He watched Goff get one. He watched St. Brown get one. And so he actually had said during OTAs, he went up to Dan Campbell and said, "Hey, coach, what's going on? Why don't I have a new deal yet?" And Campbell was honest with him and said, "All right, well, let's see how you do. Like, you just came off of a operation. Let's see how you are able to get around. And I promise you, as long as all that checks out, you're next." And of course, he was a man of his word. Him and Brad Holmes was a man of his word. And again, that's what I was kind of talking about. Like, to loop it back to Emmanuel Mosley, like, these players are realizing we have an administration that we can actually go and talk to. We're not just expected to work and shut up and collect a check. They actually care about our input. And when we have an issue, they want us to speak on it. So for me, two-part question. One, how do you feel about Taylor Decker getting a new deal and potentially retiring as a Lion? And two, again, culture. Are we liking what we're hearing from these players? I'll start with Nate.
I mean, I'm glad with Decker. It keeps our line intact. Still gives us the best offensive line in all of freaking football. And that's what you want to keep. And as far as that, I'm just glad he fixed that stuff where he was tipping off plays.
Hey, Chris Millman had called him out, didn't he? I remember that.
Yeah. So long as he fixed that, I'm good to go. Because he has been better. He's been a lot better, actually. A whole lot better. So I'm good with it.
Bobby, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm okay with Taylor Decker. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna pull out the balloons and the confetti or nothing like that. But he's more than serviceable. And like Nate said, he touched up on his weaknesses. So that's also good. And then like they were saying, he represented. He was so happy because he's been through all the bad times and whatnot. So I'm happy for him for that standpoint. But keep it up, dude. Keep it up, dude. That don't mean slack up. That's about it. Okay. I'm watching you. I'm still watching you, but good job.
Bad news out of training camp. John Kaminsky. John Kaminsky has torn his MCL, which basically means that he will not be around until bare minimum playoffs. We've talked about Kaminsky a lot on this program, and it has kind of been the opinion of a lot of people that are joining me right now, and Reggie as well, that Kaminsky was a huge help to Aiden Hutchinson. So I want to go to our resident defensive coordinator, Nate Rucker. You lose Kaminsky. What does it mean? What level of concern should we have with this going into the preseason?
As far as defensive tackle wise, we're a lot better. Elaine McNeil has grown. The addition of DJ Reader, instantly makes in Hutchinson on DJ Reader's side is instantly dangerous for anybody. Kaminsky, is very serviceable. I liked, his motor. And by him being an undersized defensive tackle, he was able to rush. He was able to create a lot of pressure on that quarterback, and that helped. With Aiden Hutchinson sometimes getting a lot of single coverage. Because if you notice, when Kaminsky wasn't in there, that's when you really seen a lot of double teams on Hutch's side. So what they would do is they start moving him up and down the line a lot more. But Kaminsky, man, benefited from Hutch, his growth, his mentorship, attention to detail, film watching, all that played a huge part. And it's really, Aiden was already NFL ready, as far as his preparation and everything else. And Kaminsky just made it a lot more easier with the transition.
So how concerned are you moving forward, or are you not concerned?
I'm not.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm not at all.
Bobby Bless, obviously you just heard from our resident defensive coordinator. How do you feel?
We got Davenport, right? Ain't that his spot, if I'm not mistaken?
Kaminsky kind of rotated between defensive tackle and a little bit of defense.
Oh, he sure did. If Nate ain't worried, I ain't worried. I'm gonna put it on Nate. I'm gonna cuss out Nate if I have a problem with it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna roll with Nate.
For me, I'm not really worried about it. I will say that I hate that for John Kaminsky. I hate that for the player because I know how much he cares about all this. So I hate that for the athlete. But as far as the team is concerned, I mean, this is an opportunity, next man up. And we'll see what the other players around are going to do about it. We got a lot of young talent on that defensive line. And we're going to find out some answers this year about that defensive line. I like what is there potentially, but I think we're going to have a lot of clarity within the first 7 weeks of the season as far as what type of defensive line do we have, of course, barring any other, impactful injuries. So moving on to the quarterback position. Obviously, it is a battle for quarterback number 2. That is a deal. Jared Goff's the number 1 guy. We already know that. But we got the meanest handoff in the league taking on my guy, Hendon
Damn,
Hooker.
he back. He's still on the team, huh?
Sudfeld, yes, he is still
God
on the team.
damn.
They brought him back. They brought him back. So here's the deal. Okay. A report came out during OTAs that Hendon wasn't looking so hot, that, he was having accuracy issues. Well, then a report comes out like 3 days ago that Hendon Hooker had a dislocated ring finger on his throwing hand, which completely explains why he was having difficulty gripping and ripping the football at OTAs. And that now at training camp, he actually looks a lot better. He's been doing a really, really good job. My thing is, I'm ready to see it. Bobby said earlier that, J-Mo looking good in training camp. That's great, but I want to see it.
He a dog. Me saying it, though, I just want people to know that I believe he's gonna get it done. I just ain't ready to see it yet. Let me know when the pie ready. I don't want to see it yet.
And for me, I feel that way about Hendon Hooker. I know he's gonna do great because of the way he prepares and the way he's always handled himself. He is a professional. But I want to see it. I want to see it in action. And the first opportunity that we're going to see is going to be that first preseason game coming up next week. August 8th, they're going to be taking on the New York Football Giants.
That's a Thursday or a Friday?
That's a Thursday, August 8th at 7 p.m. It looks like.
Oh, I think I'm off that next Friday too. No, it's 7 p.m.
But again, I'm curious to see, and this is what I want to get you guys' opinion on. We know we're not going to see a lot of Jared Goff because it's the preseason and there's no reason to put him out there outside of making sure that, he gets wet a little bit. How do y'all see these reps getting split between Hendon Hooker and Nate Sudfeld? Let me go to our Nate Rucker. Nate, what's your opinion?
Sudfeld, I mean, if he ain't gonna do nothing but hand off, it don't matter. We know what he ain't. So it really should be 80-20, Hendon Hooker. Like,
hey, didn't he get hurt handing the ball off too? Didn't he get hurt?
I think he did. Yeah, he damaged. He did. He damaged. I think he did something to his finger.
I thought it was some of his legs.
Meanest handoff in the league.
Man,
that's why they'll never let me be the PA announcer, by the way, at Ford Field, because I would introduce him as that in front of everybody. I'd be like, and here's the meanest handoff in the league. Give it up. Nate Sudfeld. Yeah.
That boy's terrible.
But okay, so you said 80-20. You said 80-20. What does that look like quarters wise? Do you think Hendon gets the first 3, Sudfeld gets 1?
Yeah, 3/4 to 1.
And you think that for pretty much all the preseason games?
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Bobby, what's your opinion?
Man, my opinion or what it's two different things.
Good.
I have an
Give
opinion.
Give me both. We got time.
Okay, it can be both. All right. My opinion is I don't want to see him even nowhere on the sideline in the stadium. I don't want him. I'm talking about Sudfeld. I don't want him throwing peanuts or nothing. Hand me the peanuts, right? No, man, I'm so sick of Nate Sudfeld. I don't even know how he's still in the league, let alone still on the Lions, bro. But as far as Hendon Hooker, I'm more of a fan of let the boy play the whole game. Give him a whole game. He ain't played in I don't know how long. Give him a whole game. Because I'm pretty sure He's been practicing with the ones a little bit, but I know he's been most of his times with the 2s and 3s. I would like to see him have a whole game on his plate, game plan, everything. Like just planning like you the starter for the preseason. Because just like my boy Nate said, man, we know what Sudfeld not, and the main thing he's not is good. So I don't want to see none of that. So this is.
I mean, Bob's just going after people tonight, folks.
I don't like that. Because we're not talking. We talking about. We ain't talking about none of the cogs and the wheels. We talking about Mosley, and he. I don't even know what he looked like, bro. So let alone what he gonna do on the field. And then we bringing up Nate Sudfeld, man. Come on, man.
Hey, you put some respect on that name. That's the meanest handoff in the league.
Yeah,
that boy trash, man.
yeah, for sure.
No, and the way he threw the worst. He threw the worst interception last year. He threw a 15-yard duck.
Yeah. No, well, and here's the thing. Bobby just said, I don't want him throwing peanuts.
No, I don't want him throwing that duck. I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't let him throw T-shirts in the stands.
No, man, because he gonna throw my peanuts to somebody else.
Right. Like that's all they talked about was how his arm coming out of college and this and that. That boy threw a 15-yard flutter ball.
I hear, and I can't confirm this, fellas, but I hear at home, Mr. Sudfeld doesn't even let him throw attitude. So anyway, so
she
let's
might take out the garbage too. Shit,
right?
She don't even trust him with that.
Low. That was low. I will admit. Yeah. Strike one for me. But anyway, but don't even let that boy throw attitude. Anyway, so let's talk about, as far as like my side of it, my hope is that they let Hendon play as much as physically possible.
For sure.
Because A, he needs the reps, and B, if for some reason down the line he is not the future, other teams are going to want NFL footage to consider whether they want to trade for him.
Who?
Hendon Hooker.
Oh, I thought you said Sudfeld.
No. I'm saying.
I got you now.
I'm saying let Hendon play because you think he might be the future, and if he's not the future, at least you got some game footage that you can show these other teams. So to me, I think let him play as much as possible. My problem is last year they had Adrian Martinez and Nate Sudfeld. And they were so committed to Nate Sudfeld that we barely saw Adrian Martinez. And in his very limited action, he actually did something, and they still let him go. It was very.
Can I ask you a question, Elijah? What was something that the Martinez did? Because I don't remember it.
Martinez.
He did.
Martinez had a game-winning drive. It was like
he was running and he was just doing all that running and shit though. He wasn't throwing no dimes though.
I don't care how we win as long as we do.
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
we paying these receivers a lot of money.
Look, to his credit, every receiver that played with Adrian Martinez did not make the roster.
And here's the other thing.
One guy did, Graham did.
Y'all got to remember, I grew up in the early 2000s.
I know about Adrian Martinez.
I grew up near Atlanta, which means I saw a lot of Falcons.
Out of Nebraska.
I know about Adrian pull it out of his ass.
That ain't Michael Vick, though.
I'm just saying, though. But Martinez, to me, I like that style of quarterback. Take off and run. I like that. That I tune in for that. But to me, I'm just saying they were so committed to Sudfeld and trying to give him a fair chance that we barely saw Martinez. So I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that this time around because that.
Didn't they cut all the quarterbacks last year? Didn't they cut them all?
That was the year before.
That was the year before, but all them trash too. Blau and Blau and Ball.
Y'all have
all them was trash.
I'm just saying, y'all have a healthy Hooker. You should use it. That sounds. That sounds bad. Hold up. Wait a minute. Time out.
2 claps in the
Woo! Anyway.
I hope he got his dance card.
Hey, let me get 2 claps in the Ric Flair.
Oh.
Right. He said a healthy hooker. Ooh, child.
I'm just saying, when you have a healthy hooker, you should use it. That's all I'm saying.
Does that does that come with a My Chart card?
You're funny. You're funny. Anyway, so like I said, I hope Hendon Hooker gets to play as much as humanly possible. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see him though, because like you said, Elijah, Hendon Hooker is a good kid, and he a pro. He conducted himself as a pro. You didn't see him. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see him like, oh, I should be the starter. He seemed like he was the humble, glad to be there, and I just glad to, man, because I'm be honest with you, brother. If he can't outdo Sudfeld, that is not going to be good at all. So,
yeah. Well, like I said,
man, Slinky Dog can outdo Sudfeld.
Slinky Dog.
That's right. That's right. So let's get to a couple final topics here before we.
Oh, god damn.
So first up, Thursday night, 8:00, Hall of Fame game, Texans and the Bears. A couple reasons to watch if you guys haven't. I know these guys have already considered it, but if you at home have not considered watching, a couple things you should look out for. Number one, the new kickoffs. You're going to get to see the new kickoff.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Very interesting. First time we're seeing teams do it. Okay. Second thing, Caleb Williams and the Bears. What are they going to look
like? Caleb Williams not going to play.
As far as I know, he is. As far as he is, I haven't heard any other story about him not playing. And here's the thing. Here's the thing you got to think about with Caleb Williams and the Bears. Not that we'd like to think about the Bears that much on this program, but they're putting all their eggs in the Caleb Williams basket.
Yeah. I think he's about to get a contract extension next month. $200 million.
But behind Caleb Williams is Bagent and Rippon. Neither one of those guys are starters in this league.
I'll take Rippon over Sudfeld, though.
But they're putting all their eggs in the Caleb Williams basket, so they have to play the kid because you can't throw him in there week one with no experience whatsoever. So my question is, knowing that, how much is Caleb Williams going to play in this Hall of Fame game? I'm curious about that. I'm curious to see how much is he going to play. Can he find his weapons? Because he's got more weapons than Fields had. That's for dang sure. And how good is that offensive line for the Bears? Because I'm a firm believer that the reason why Justin Fields did not succeed in Chicago is because they didn't put anything hardly around him. And then option B, they didn't keep him upright. So he was constantly running for his life. So I'm curious to see that dynamic. And I definitely will be tuning into that game because I want to see it with my own two eyes because that's a divisional opponent. So Hall of Fame game, 8:00 Thursday. Wanted to make a mention of that. Also in the division, Jordan Love got a massive deal. And I do believe he's now the highest paid quarterback in NFL history until the next one gets.
Leave it up to the Packers.
Here's what tickles me, okay, about this situation. So Aaron Rodgers got big contracts during his time at Green Bay. And when he would get a big contract, Green Bay would then use that as an excuse as to why they weren't drafting or bringing in free agent talent to help Aaron Rodgers. And when Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay, it seemed like they had a change of heart and they were getting talent around Jordan Love. Like he was getting to experience all the benefits of being a Green Bay quarterback and getting weapons added around him. That ain't going to happen no more because they just gave you all the money they have to give. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Jordan Love this upcoming season because yeah, he had a very good stretch of football. Can't deny it. It's right there in the stats. He had a very good stretch of football down the stretch. But can he do that for a whole season? And again, a lot of the hype lately, when I tune in to these bigger talk shows, it seems like they're talking less about the Lions and more about the Packers are back. So before we end the show, I want to go to Nate first. Nate, Caleb Williams, how much do you think he plays in this Hall of Fame game? And Jordan Love, what are your thoughts on him getting that contract?
Caleb Williams probably, if he don't get hurt, probably halftime, third quarter. Jordan Love, who gives a shit? I mean, Dude, it's the Packers organization. They do a lot of dumb shit any damn way. So I'm not surprised. I am. I'm surprised that they pay him a rookie max after really playing good for half a season, which completely blows my mind. But have at it.
Do you agree with me though that like now that they've given him that money, he's gonna find out what it's
Oh yeah,
really like to be a Packers quarterback?
I have to. I don't even know what their salary cap even looks like for real. That's how much I give two shits about the Packers.
Right.
I mean, when you think about who they have, I mean, I know they Jair Alexander. If I'm not mistaken, they just gave him a deal.
No, they didn't.
Oh, they didn't. So you got Jair Alexander, you got Rashawn Gary.
They
Kenny
gave him a
Clark.
new deal. They gave
Okay,
him a new deal too.
right. Kenny Clark. Uh, who's that new running back? Is it Jerry?
Josh
What's his name?
Jacobs. Josh
He a
Jacobs.
Josh
dude from the
Jacobs.
Raiders. Yeah.
So you got Josh Jacobs, but I mean, ain't nobody worried about them Packers or that running game. Josh Jacobs got beat up playing against us last year. So it's like, okay, whatever. Packers will be at the bottom of the division again.
Bobby,
I don't think
thoughts
Caleb
on how
Williams.
much thoughts on how much Caleb plays and thoughts on
Yeah,
the
I don't think he's gonna play
at all?
At all.
Okay,
At
mark
all.
that down.
Because
Somebody mark that
I
down.
don't think he's gonna play because that's the extra preseason game that only two people have. So that's why I don't think only two teams have. And as far as the other one, I think he good, to be honest, to be all the way honest with you, because he go to the off-season workouts and all them damn receivers is young, man. They ain't got to pay none of them no time soon. That's gonna be an issue with that. But shoot, I remember Thanksgiving game, man. That motherfucker was balling, dude. He's picking us apart. So I'm more interested in seeing what the damn corner's gonna do that we got. Because if we putting out the Suttons and stuff like that, that's gonna see. I can't really put a judge on that until I see what we got, because it don't take much to beat what we had last year. Because I
Right.
remember third and longs was our worst down. So
Right.
I think he's good though, but I just think we definitely on the. I think we better, but I don't. I'm turning my nose up at JJ McCarthy. I'm turning my nose up at Caleb Williams. I ain't doing that with him yet. No,
Okay.
because
Fair enough.
and the reason why, because you know how we is, Nate. I seen it with my eyes, man. That motherfucker was tearing. He was dropping dimes. So he's in tune with that playbook, and he done went to school in the playbook. Like, don't you go to college for 4 years? So he been in that playbook for 4 years. So I'm more interested in seeing how that how they replace not Bulaga. What's the other dude name? They left tackle. Bakhtiari, that's his name.
Oh, okay.
Bakhtiari. Yeah, I'm more interested to see how he do more than anything. But it don't matter. At our best, we should be able to beat the world. So let's make sure we at our best, and that won't even matter to me. But hey, that ain't Justin Fields. That's a whole different animal. So I'm more interested in seeing what we're gonna do to defend him through that contract. So.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this thing up here. Nate Rucker, we're going to try to go to you here, my friend, for closing remarks. What do you got for us?
Love, peace, hair grease. Super Bowl 2025. And I told y'all last year what it was, and y'all gonna see it again this year.
Hey,
why everybody got us flipping in the division? We know what it is.
Bobby Bless.
Kings of the North for the second year.
I like that. I like that. Bobby Bless, your closing remarks, my friend.
I have came to the conclusion the only time I cuss is when I'm talking about the Detroit Lions, and the other time I can be a nice professional and corporate guy, but them Detroit Lions bring something out of me that I just don't I can't control. But no, man, I just can't wait, man, because once you see that Hall of Fame game, that means it's time. You know what I mean? It is time, and I just like how our cohesiveness is at the team. Like we even more tighter than we was last year, and I don't see anybody satisfied on the team. So I feel like that they want more, as just like the fans want more. So in closing, I'm saying, man, let the Lions do their thing, and let's see where it take us. But from what I was looking, our first 3-4 games is pretty tough, ain't it?
Yeah,
In theory, so I think we deserve that though. We deserve a tough schedule so we can show the world that is not just a myth, it's not just a rumor. Them Lions is ready. You know what I mean? So what happened last year don't matter. I'm glad they got the mindset that we got to prove ourselves again. So that's going to lead to them staying hungry. But the main thing, I don't want us to keep going back. Oh, this happened last year. This happened last year. Over with. We can't even cash them checks no more. So I just wanted to make sure we more building than reflecting. So as long as we talking about the building, that means we're doing the things we need to do to be the team we need to be. And shit, I'm ready for some football. That's about it, brother.
All right. So
I'm ready for the new Madden to come out too. That need to hurry up, come out too.
For my closing remarks, I'm gonna leave it here. Not so much with the Lions, but just showing appreciation as I try to do on every episode. We are 74 episodes in. 74. Again, every time we do it, I feel like I say the same thing, but I can't believe it. 74 episodes. That is amazing. That means next time we're going for 75. You know, that's another milestone. So I want to thank the people who have made this possible. I want to thank Reggie Funchess. I want to thank Nate Rucker. I want to thank the #1 Lions fan, Bobby Bless. And I want to thank you at home as well. What was that, Bobby, earlier? 2 claps and a what?
Ric Flair. There's 2 claps and a Ric Flair, so it's woo.
That's right. That's right.
The Ric Flair is the woo.
So with that, my friends, hey, remember, be good to yourself, be good to others out there, and hopefully we will see you next week as we start to be a little bit more on top of things. We got a lot to do. It's football season, which is very exciting. So hey, again, be good to yourself, be good to others out there, and we will talk to y'all soon. This is